The distress beacon wasn't supposed to activate, certainly not after 7 years, not from that sector. The moment the signal hit the Deep Space Command grid, alarms shrieked across the Earth Defense Council's war room. Commander Adam Reeve stood before the tactical display, jaw tight. The file on the vessel had been closed, the crew written off. He remembered the bitter memorial services. They'd called it a noble loss. Now, the ESS Revenant was broadcasting, a signal straight through Imperial-occupied space. No encryption lag, no distortion. It was alive. "Is it a trick?" someone asked. Reeve didn't answer. He couldn't. Not yet. They sent interceptors. Empire ships responded too, faster than anyone expected. Half of Earth's intelligence networks had warned the Empire would never tolerate a ghost ship returning from the dead, especially not from the fringe zones where the Empire's grasp grew thin and other things lurked. The Revenant appeared at Jump Gate Sigma 9 exactly 23 hours later. It wasn't the same ship that had vanished. The hull was a jagged mosaic of unfamiliar alloys, blackened and shimmering with layered geometries. No human engineer had ever designed it. The drive signatures were wrong. Even the Empire's sensor. Drones failed to make sense of the emissions. Then the Empire's heavy cruiser Sovereign Blade made a fatal mistake. They tried to board it. Adam watched the live feed, throat dry. He'd seen footage of Imperial Marines storming rebel cruisers. Before, precision work. But what happened inside the Revenant was no skirmish. The first strike team's feed turned to static. The second team's biomonitors flatlined en masse, until one came back broadcasting a single looping message in a deep, distorted voice. "This ship belongs to Earth. Enter again at your peril." The Revenant systems responded by emitting a pulse that shut down every Imperial vessel within 50 kilometers. Clean, silent. No known Empire tech could do that. Earth's interceptors sent hails, desperate for contact. Finally, a single transmission came through, encrypted in an ancient Earth dialect, one used only in pre-Empire wars. Commander Adam Reeve, clearance Alpha Black. Authorization to dock required. Adam's blood ran cold. That clearance level hadn't existed for decades. But the voice on the channel, it was unmistakably human. And the name, his own brother, Captain Marcus Reeve, reported KIA on the Revenant's final mission. Against every protocol, Adam authorized a secure dock at Lunar Station Prime. When the Revenant arrived, Earth's defense fleets shadowed it like sharks circling an unknown predator. None dared approach too close. Docking clamps engaged, but external cameras failed, every lens shorted. As the airlock cycled open, the first figure to step into the bay wasn't the brother Adam remembered. Marcus Reeve looked older, harder, his eyes cold with something deeper than rage. His uniform was shredded, replaced with segments of some alien. Material fused to his flesh in places. Behind him moved what remained of the Revenant's crew, 30 out of the original 200. All changed, no salute, no pleasantries. Marcus spoke in a voice rough as broken stone. "The Empire will not understand what we bring. Earth must choose, stand free or fall alongside them." Before Adam could speak, Marcus produced a small device, triangular, humming softly. His eyes locked on Adam's. "This is why we survived, and why the Empire will burn." Adam stood frozen, staring at the object in his brother's hand. The bay was dead silent. No guards moved. No officer dared speak. The device seemed to distort the air around it, subtle but undeniable. "What is that?" Adam asked, voice low. His heart hammered, but years in command kept the tremor out of his tone. Marcus studied him for a long beat, as if deciding whether his own brother could be trusted. Finally, he said, "It's called a core shard, one of many taken from beyond the mapped sectors. Not alien tech, not exactly. Older." He glanced at his crew. They were like him, changed. pale eyes glinting faintly with metallic sheen, movements too precise, muscles corded unnaturally tight, and their silence. Adam had seen men broken by war, but this was something else. They weren't broken. They were sharpened, hardened by something Earth couldn't imagine. Marcus's gaze cut back to Adam. The Empire doesn't understand what's out there. We didn't either. Not at first. A faint click echoed as security teams finally moved into the bay, weapons ready. Adam held up a hand sharply. "Stand down!" He turned back to his brother. "You owe me the truth, Marcus. The entire truth. No riddles." Marcus's jaw tightened, but he nodded once. They moved to a sealed briefing room. No cameras, no AI systems, just hard steel walls and a security blackout. Adam insisted. Something told him the Revenant's tech might not play. Nice with modern surveillance. Marcus placed the core shard on the table between them. It hovered an inch above the surface, humming softly. 7 years ago, Marcus began. We followed orders, mapped fringe sectors near the Veil Expanse. We thought the Empire had overlooked it. He gave a humorless laugh. They hadn't. They were afraid of it. Adam frowned. The Veil's been off-limits for decades. Exactly. Marcus leaned forward. Because they couldn't control what was there. They sent others before us. None came back. We didn't either. Not entirely. He took a breath, the first sign of hesitation. We encountered structures, he said finally. Not ships, not cities. Engines floating in dark space. No stars. Nearby. The first 2 away teams didn't return. On the third, we found this. He tapped the core shard. It bonded to our ship. To us. Adam's blood ran cold. Bonded. We tried to remove it. Failed. Tried to destroy it. The drive systems changed. The weapons altered themselves. Shields began adapting faster than we could track. His voice dropped lower, and Adam looked into his brother's eyes again, seeing the faint, inhuman gleam. You're not fully human anymore. Marcus didn't deny it. We fought things out there, Adam. Things that shouldn't exist. Biomechanical constructs that made the Empire's dreadnoughts look like toys. The shard kept us alive. Rebuilt us. Now the Empire's picked up fragments of our signal. They'll come in force. They'll want the tech. They can't have it. Adam stared at the device, then back at his brother. Why come back at all? Marcus met his gaze with brutal honesty. Because Earth is weak, corrupt. If the Empire takes this, they'll have a weapon no species can match. They'll own the entire galaxy, and they'll wipe Earth out when they're done. The briefing ended in dead silence. Adam left the room feeling like he was walking through a dream or a nightmare. He called an emergency meeting of the Earth Defense Council, restricted to Alpha Black clearance. Half the council thought Marcus was lying. The other half wanted to seize the shard immediately and begin analysis. Adam crushed that debate fast. No one touches that device without my direct authorization, they pushed back. Commander, Reeve, this could shift the entire balance of power or kill us all. Adam cut in. We have no idea what that thing's doing to the Revenant's systems or its crew. You saw the intercept footage. It disabled an entire Imperial fleet element without firing a shot. Murmurs of unease followed. We need to consider the worst case, Adam said grimly. If this is some kind of Trojan, Earth could be compromised already. And if your brother's telling the truth, a grizzled admiral interrupted, then we're at war with something bigger than the Empire. And our only asset is a crew of half-human survivors running on alien tech. The Empire moved faster than expected. 3 days after the Revenant's arrival, long-range scans detected an Imperial armada massing near the border sectors. 20 capital ships, hundreds of support vessels. A single coded message was transmitted to Earth's High Command. Surrender the vessel, Revenant, and all recovered technology. Failure to comply will be considered an act of galactic insurrection. Adam stared at the transmission. No pretense, no diplomacy, just raw Imperial threat. His hands curled into fists. He knew the Council's instincts. They'd cave. Earth was no match for that kind of force in open battle, unless he stood and walked straight to Lunar Station Prime. Marcus was waiting in the ship's shadowed hangar as if he'd known Adam was coming. "They're here," Marcus said simply. Adam didn't argue. "Can you fight them?" Marcus's lips twitched, not a smile. Something darker. "The ship? We can. But Earth's forces would die trying to help." Adam looked him dead in the eye. "What's your plan?" Marcus stepped closer. "Let me take the Revenant out alone. Let them think Earth gave us up. Then we hit them where they don't expect. And if you fail?" Marcus's gaze was steel. "We won't." Adam hesitated only a moment, then nodded. "Do it." The Council screamed treason when Adam presented the plan. Half demanded his resignation. A few even threatened court-martial. He didn't care. When the Revenant launched silently from Lunar Prime, Adam watched from the command deck. The Empire's ships were already pushing toward the outer colonies, broadcasting ultimatums. The Revenant entered the black alone. Hours later, the first Imperial dreadnought, Imperium's Wrath, was found adrift, dead in space. No battle signatures. No survivors, just a burned-out husk missing half its core systems. Then another, and another. Empire Fleet Command went silent. Panic spread. Adam received one final message from Marcus. The Empire never understood fear. They will now. The wreckage of Imperium's Wrath drifted in the black, her once proud hull scarred by forces the Empire's scientists couldn't even classify. By the fourth crippled dreadnought, Imperial Fleet Command switched from capture orders to full exterminate. They underestimated Marcus once. They wouldn't make that mistake again. Or so they thought, in Earth. Marcus could do this to the Empire. What stopped him from turning on Earth next? In a closed session, the proposal came. Destroy the Revenant preemptively. "We can't control this asset," one counselor warned. "It's too dangerous." Adam's jaw tightened. "If we strike first, we lose our only chance to stand against the Empire," he shot back. "And we'll make an enemy of my brother." The room buzzed with tense debate. The decision was tabled, for now. Meanwhile, across the Empire's outer sectors, panic spread. Colonial governors sealed planetary spaceports. Civilian traffic vanished from the lanes. Military convoys rerouted through fringe corridors, desperate to avoid whatever dark space the Revenant now haunted. Rumors exploded across the black channels. Earthship fused with xenotech. Crew no longer human. No escape if it finds you in the depths of space. On board the Revenant, Marcus stood before the core shard. It pulsed brighter now, sinking deeper into the ship, into his crew, into him. He could feel its pull grow stronger by the day. The others felt it too. It granted them awareness beyond normal senses, a kind of spatial intuition no Imperial fleet could match. But with it came something darker. Visions, echoes, flickers of something watching through the shard. Not the constructs they'd fought. Something older. "We're not finished," Marcus thought across the mesh. "Not until they fear Earth itself." The ship resonated in agreement. Adam knew the pattern couldn't last. Sooner or later, the Empire would adapt. They did. A week after the Revenant's first kills, a new Imperial weapon entered the field. The Null Spire, a massive command carrier equipped with exotic gravitic projectors designed to destabilize spatial folds and counter null tech. Empire Fleet Command baited the Revenant with a false convoy, then sprang the Spire's field mid-fold. The Revenant was caught, spatial compression halting its movement, briefly tethered. Imperial warships closed fast. Marcus's crew flooded the mesh with warning signals. Damage mounting, options dwindling, but Marcus only smiled. Time to show them what we've truly learned. He reached deeper into the bond with the shard, risking more of himself. Pain lanced through him as the ship shifted again, systems warping beyond their previous state. From the Revenant's hull, tendrils of pure gravitational shear erupted, visible distortions tearing into the attacking cruisers, armor plates folded inward like wet paper. Energy weapons bent off target as space twisted unnaturally. The Null Spire's field flickered, then collapsed entirely. In a single terrifying instant, the Revenant surged forward, inside the Spire's formation, tearing through it with impossible force. When the fold space settled, the Spire was gone. Only debris remained. Earth's listening posts caught every transmission. The Council panicked anew. "This must be stopped before it consumes him," Adam's voice cut through. "Or we'll be consumed by the Empire instead." But deep down, even he wondered, how much of Marcus is left? Back aboard the Revenant, Marcus stood alone in the command nexus, breathing hard. His crew recovered slowly from the neural feedback. The Ra shard pulsed brighter than ever, its light searing his vision, and in that pulsing, a new awareness crept in. Not human, not alien. Something older, something awake, a voice felt rather than heard. More will come, stronger. The true war begins. Marcus clenched his fists, forcing control. "Then let them come." The Revenant answered with a low, eager hum. Back on Earth, Adam made his decision. If Marcus was heading toward something darker, something Earth couldn't control, he needed to know first, before the Council's knives came out. He ordered a stealth courier launched, a private channel, one message only. "Marcus, it's Adam. We need to talk," before this goes too far, and he waited, knowing that if no reply came, he might be sending Earth's last warning too late. Adam stood alone in the comms center long after the Council session ended. His message had been sent, encrypted, routed, through black channels Marcus should still recognize. Now came the hard part. Waiting. He hadn't told the Council. If word leaked that Earth's highest-ranking defense commander had contacted what the Council now called a rogue Xeno-augmented element, they'd demand his immediate removal, or worse. But Adam wasn't about to let politicians decide this war. Not when his brother was the one fighting it. On board the Revenant, deep in a sector the Empire hadn't dared chart for centuries, Marcus stood before the core shard. Its pulsing light filled the command nexus with a harsh, almost predatory rhythm. The last battle had cost them. Half the remaining crew were still recovering from neural strain. The ship's systems had evolved again, more alien with each shift. Marcus could feel it. Every time he reached deeper into the shard's power, it took something from him. Memories blurred at the edges. Time slipped. How long since they first bonded? He didn't know anymore. But one thing remained clear. The Empire would never stop. A sharp chime pulsed through the ship's mesh. An incoming signal. Human-coded. Deep encryption. Familiar signature. Marcus touched the signal, and his heart clenched. Adam. For a long moment, he hesitated. The part of him that still remembered Earth, the old wars, his brother, wanted to answer. The part bonded to the Revenant whispered, "Caution, attachment is weakness. The Empire will use it." But in the end, Marcus was still human enough to reply. Adam was in his private quarters when the console lit. The isolation field kicked in automatically. No feeds, no logs. The display flickered, no video, only a voice, filtered through distortion. Adam. Marcus's voice. Rougher, deeper than Adam remembered, but undeniably him. Adam leaned forward. "You're alive." A faint, humorless chuckle came through. In a manner of speaking, Adam's throat tightened. He pushed past it. "You're pushing them to the brink. But you know the Council. Soon they'll order me to send everything we have after you." A pause. Then Marcus's voice again, colder. "Now! They can try!" "Marcus, listen to me." Adam's voice sharpened. You're changing. This war you're waging, it's not just the Empire that's watching anymore. A long silence. Then Marcus answered, quieter this time. I know. Then come back, Adam said. Work with us. Before the Council forces my hand, before you lose yourself entirely. When Marcus spoke again, there was an edge to his voice that chilled Adam to the bone. I can't go back, Adam. Not now. Not after what we've seen. What's coming? Adam frowned. Coming? But the channel cut, abrupt, final. For the next 2 days, the Revenant went dark. No attacks, no sightings. The Empire's battered forces regrouped in defensive formations. On Earth, paranoia consumed the Council. Speculation ran wild. Had the Revenant withdrawn? Was it preparing something worse? Adam knew better. Marcus was thinking, choosing his next move, and Adam's time to influence it was running out. His fears were confirmed when the next wave of reports hit. Empire Black Fortress Outpost, 17, Deep Space Command Node, gone. No debris, no survivors, no signal. When the first scout probe finally reached the coordinates, it transmitted one image before its systems failed. A symbol burned into the station core, not human, not Imperial, an unknown sigil, sharp angles interwoven with arcs of impossible geometry, and at the center, one word etched in ancient Earth script, Revenantin. The war room, Earth's admirals and council envoys erupted in panic. He's sending a message now, one officer snapped. To us and the Empire both. We can't allow this to continue, another shouted. Commander Reeve, order the fleet, take him down. Adam's jaw clenched. Every instinct screamed that Marcus was still fighting for something, but the window to reach him was closing. If he waited too long, the Council would act, and Earth's fleets weren't ready for what the Revenant had become. That night, alone. In his quarters, Adam poured a glass of black market scotch and stared out the viewport. Lunar orbit was quiet, but beneath the surface, Earth itself stood on the edge of a blade. He replayed Marcus's last words again and again. What's coming? What the hell did that mean? A sharp alert tone broke his thoughts. Private channel, secured. He keyed it open. Adam, Marcus again. But this time something was different. The voice was strained, urgent. Listen carefully, they're moving. Beyond the frontier. Constructs. Old ones. The shard showed me. The Empire stirred something it doesn't understand. Adam's blood ran cold. What kind of constructs? Marcus's answer was grim. Not ships, not machines. Wards, prison mechanisms. We were never supposed to reach them. Now they're waking. Adam swallowed. How long do we have? Weeks, maybe. Less. The Empire will break first, but Earth won't be spared. Silence hung thick between them. Then Marcus added, voice hardening, prepare your fleets. And if the Council tries to move against me, don't stop me. The line cut again. The next morning, Adam stood before the Council, stone-faced. We have a new threat, bigger than the Revenant, bigger than the Empire. He laid out what little Marcus had revealed, edited, carefully, omitted just how much his brother had warned him directly. If we strike Marcus now, we risk blinding ourselves to what's coming. Predictably, the Council split in fury. Half wanted to believe him. The rest, terrified of what Marcus now represented, demanded total annihilation. By session's end, the Council voted. Authorization for preemptive strike. Approved. Hours later, Adam received the official order. Commander Reeve, you are to coordinate full fleet action against the rogue vessel Revenant. Mission priority, neutralization. The signature chilled him. Counselor Kalen, the most hawkish voice in the chamber, and there it was, his impossible choice. Follow orders, or risk treason to buy Marcus the time they all might need. Adam stared at the order for a long time. Then he... Crack! a rupture in reality, as the first ward construct split apart, its inner workings unraveling like the skeleton of a god made of angles and dead equations. The remnants folded into themselves, collapsing into a gravitational sink that tore even light from the void. But there was no time to celebrate. Marcus swayed inside the nexus, blood now flowing freely from his ears, his mouth. The ship screamed with him, the neural mesh shuddering under the strain. Systems rebooted and failed and rebooted again, but they had done it. They had proven the constructs could fall. That meant there was a way through. Recalibrate core. Harmonics, he ordered, voice hoarse but steady. Adapt for dual-phase defense. They're learning us. Already the remaining constructs shifted formation, not with the tactics of warships, but with something older, more deliberate. A strategy, baked into their very design. And still, Marcus felt it. That presence behind them, closer now, pressing harder. In the Earth War Room, Admiral Hurst turned to Adam, pale and shaking. That thing, that weapon, he's changing. That's not Marcus anymore. Adam didn't look away from the feed. No, he said softly, it's Marcus becoming what he was always meant to be. On the Revenant, as systems recalibrated, Marcus turned to the crew through the neural mesh. Next target. We push through. We burn a path. And deep within the shard, something stirred in response. Not memory, not knowledge. Recognition. They were no longer just fighting for Earth. They were fighting to stop what came after. The Revenant. It hung suspended like a dying ember within the impossible geometry of the entity's grasp, space itself warping around it, light bending in sickening arcs. Adam gripped the edge of the console. Get me closer. Now. But, sir, do it! The Nightfall surged forward under full stealth, its blackened hull absorbing every trace of energy to remain unseen. On board, Adam watched in horror as the ancient entity unfurled. It wasn't simply massive, it was wrong, violating every natural law. The Revenant system sparked and twisted in its hold, hull fracturing, neural mesh shrieking under pressure. That wasn't physical, but psychic, conceptual. Inside, Marcus writhed in agony. The shard was screaming now, both a conduit and a curse. Through it, the entity reached, not just to him, but through him. Memories cracked like glass. Thoughts spiraled. It knew him now. A voice, pure entropy, slithered into his mind. You saw. You remember. You carry the key. Open. Marcus screamed. He didn't know what it meant, but the shard pulsed wildly, reacting on instinct, desperate. It flared a violent blue-white, and in that instant, Nightfall's systems caught the burst. Signal, the comms officer shouted. Tight beam from the Revenant. Compressed core data, coordinates, structure scans, threat analysis. Record everything, Adam ordered. His eyes never left the monstrosity in the dark. Then, impossibly, the Revenant broke free. The shard flared again, overloaded by Marcus's will and the core's final reserves. The ship didn't fold conventionally, it cracked through space. A fissure tore across the void, and the Revenant vanished into it, dragged through dimensions blind, bleeding, broken, but gone. The entity paused. Its senses turned, slowly, terrifyingly, toward Nightfall. Adam froze. Power down. Everything. Now. The ship went dark. No light, no sound. Just the oppressive silence of being watched. The entity hovered, then, disinterested, drifted back into the fracture it had created. Gone. For now. Only then did the crew breathe again. Adam stood in the shadows, heart pounding, Marcus's final burst replaying in his head. Threat, extra-dimensional, uncontained, construct line failed, shard compromised. I am marked. We are all marked. The feed cut off. Adam turned to the pilot. Plot a course home. Maximum stealth. But sir, what do we tell them? He stared out into the void. The truth, if they'll believe it. And behind his eyes, the shape still loomed, waiting, watching, because now it knew. Earth was next.